That's why the neighbors hate us, because they ain't us. We're discussing 7.62x39 and optimizing that cartridge for the AR-15 platform. Now, for those who don't know, the 7.62x39 cartridge was invented by the Soviets at the end of the Second World War, adopted as the mainline intermediate cartridge, replaced the 7.62x54R for the infantry. Originally, it was shot out of the SKS, and then shortly after the adoption of the SKS, we had Kalashnikov come out with his venerable AK-47. And up until the adoption of 5.45 by the USSR, the 7.62x39 cartridge was the common caliber used by Eastern armies. To this day, we can still see it all over the world. A lot of third world militias and armies and organizations of terror like to use the 7.62x39. Now, here in the United States, we prefer freedom, right? So we've adopted the 223 Remington, the 223 Wild, and the 5.56 NATO cartridge as our intermediate cartridge of choice, and it has been in service for decades, ever since the Vietnam era. 5.56 is not the only caliber that we chamber AR-15s in. In fact, we have a plethora of calibers that we chamber it in, and they adopt quite well. Very notably, the 300 Blackout has been a huge success and has seen pretty widespread adoption, not only in the military, but in the civilian population, for a 30 cal intermediate cartridge that is shot very easily out of a 5.56 platform. And that's simply because it uses the 5.56 casing, but then necks up to that big chunk and 30 cal round. But let's talk about 7.62x39 through the AR-15 and why it's a challenge. Well, the first one is immediate, and that is the casing itself on 7.62x39. It is tapered. You'll see over here that it is actually a larger diameter, and it tapers down all the way to the neck, where then you see the round. That's why you see the banana mags for the AK-47 and the way they're shaped. We have to design an entire magazine system for the AR-15, but now with that sort of banana style to accommodate those 7.62x39 cases. We don't have a lot of reliable options for an AR-15 magazine in 7.62x39. And it amazes me, for a piece of pressed steel, spring, and a follower, we can't get a maybe Magpul plastic option. Yes, you can jam a few rounds into your regular AR-15 magazine, but it doesn't work very well. So the only people that I've found in all my testing, and this is literally 5 years of testing, that make a decent magazine is Duramag. They're fantastic. I believe they're out of Florida, but they do really, really well. And their 28 round magazines are really nice for the fact that they do fit in most plate carriers without an issue. I found the 30 rounders just tilt a little bit too far, and then your magazines are stacking on top of each other in a weird way that doesn't allow you to get access to more magazines down the line without hitting that turn, that banana mag. I think that's the tough part about these mags. The shape is so fucky. Next major issue is overgassing. Right, the AR-15 was designed around that 223 Remington round, and the gas system here basically wants to take minimal gas pressures and be able to cycle the bolt. However, most 7.62x39 cartridges, or at least rounds, especially if they're not made in the United States, use a dirtier propellant than what you'd find in the United States. That dirtier propellant and the overpressurizing gas basically causes cycling issues with most AR-15 designs. And you can compensate for that like I did here, but it's something to be aware of. One thing that can definitely help is having an adjustable gas block. On this system here, I have a Seekins Precision adjustable gas block, and I've got it almost turned all the way down. That way the round is just not, sending a ton of gas to the system and slamming that bolt all the way to the rear as hard as it can. The next thing to account for is a heavier buffer weight and a heavier spring weight. I found the Geisley 42 Super Duty works really, really well, or some of your more tuned up springs for your buffer system work very well. An H2 buffer is fantastic for it. It's the right weight to actually mitigate a lot of that felt recoil coming off of that 7.62x39 round. And it does make it more pleasant to shoot, and it makes it more reliable. The final piece of this that you have to make note of with these builds is the fact that on a regular AR-15 bolt, you are going to see a lot more material around this bolt face, okay? For the 7.62x39 to work in these systems, what a lot of engineers had to do was basically take a lot of the material that you would see on your normal bolt face and grind it away. Essentially, by doing that, you have weakened bolt faces because there's not enough material there to handle the pressures. Now, for me, the bolt carrier itself wasn't anything special. I think it's just mil spec. And then I grabbed a Jacob Gray bolt itself. So having a chrome lined bolt with a stronger metallurgy on that bolt face, specifically designed around 7.62x39, and then an improved extractor, because I've had bolt faces and extractors crack after probably 300 or 400 rounds. It's just a common and known issue when you have inferior metallurgy on that bolt versus the 7.62x39 round. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would you ever build a AR-15 in 7.62x39 versus any of the other calibers you can build it in? I had two main reasons. First, when I built my first AR-15 in 7.62x39, I did it because 7.62x39 was hella cheap. I mean, cheaper than 9mm currently is in most cases. So it was a very affordable training round, and while everybody was freaking out, especially during the pandemic, about getting 5.56, 7.62x39 was still fairly available even with the Russian ammo bans. And it's only become kind of a bougie boutique round as of late. So for me, it was a very nice round to get and be able to train on and shoot a lot of rounds with without having to spend a lot. The second reason I got it was because I wanted to do some hog hunting. The thing about 7.62x39 is out to 300 yards, it has spectacular terminal ballistics, and it really is a very heavy hitter within those ranges. So with a 16-inch barrel, which is what it's optimized for, you can actually build a very, very stout shooting gun that's going to put a lot of hurt downrange. Now, the thing about hunting pigs is it's easiest to do at night. So having a rail system for thermal optics or IR or whatever you're using to see in the dark is a must-have. And that's where the AR-15 just shines, right? You can have all sorts of attachments. So like this thermal optic by ATN, the Thor LT 5-10, fantastic on this, works really, really well, especially being a budget option. Or like this one's thermal, but I also have an IR version, which the light and laser combo from Somo Gear, again, very budget stuff, makes hunting at night very easy. Having the ability to sit up and have yourself a bipod is very nice. So these things right here are all designed around, hey, I want to take hogs at night, or I want to hunt stuff at night. I can do so very easily off the AR-15 platform. And comboing that with the 7.62x39 soft lead tips or the Hornady SST rounds, you're talking a very competent hunting package for taking hogs.
Got the first one. Hell yeah! Woo! Woo!
That's where I see this whole system working really, really well. And my recommendation is, if you're trying to build an AR-15 for home defense, 7.62x39 is not the way you want to go. If you're trying to build a precision system that's going to hold one MOA, don't do it. If you're building an AR-15 for the first time, do not build it in 7.62x39. Learn from my mistakes. The whole system itself can get very expensive, very pricey, versus if you want just a regular AR-15, go get a BCM, man. Those are fantastic. So unless you're doing hog hunting or I don't know, you're stumble upon like a warehouse full of cheap 7.62x39, like sub 18 cents per round, it's probably not worth owning this kind of system. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Tell me what you think about these 7.62x39 AR-15 builds, and if you've built one yourself, what struggles you've had and what successes you've had with them. Maybe we'll get a definitive parts list going for those who want to attempt a build like this. That's going to be it for me. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments down below. As always, stay safe, stay free. I'll catch you on the next one.
Oh, oh, damn it. I don't know why I do the jerk off with that. I mean, so close, so close.
Projecting?
Maybe. I'm gonna get horny.